Greetings, dear being. I am an angel, a messenger from the universe, here to share an important message with you. The subject I bring is delicate, but very relevant to your spiritual and emotional well-being. Today, I'd like to talk about karma, this force that often acts in the shadows, reflecting the actions of each one of us. The waves we vibrate return to us in different ways, and this is something you should know. Two people, who at some point hurt your heart, now find themselves in a moment of difficulty. It's curious, because they are facing the same challenge simultaneously. This teaches us that, just as actions can hurt, they also generate consequences. Stay with me until the end of this message, because it is essential that you understand the nature of this experience. It's not about celebrating the pain of others, but recognizing that everything in the universe is interconnected. Life always seeks balance, and every act, no matter how small, creates waves that come back to us. I am here, present in each of you, observing what is happening in this reality. Today, I've come to talk about the truth that is revealed behind appearances. It's intriguing how often what we see on the outside doesn't reflect what's happening on the inside. Some people may seem united, but what is hidden behind that facade can be completely different. Currently, there are two souls who, by their own choice, are sharing the same physical space. They may live together, but they are, in fact, very far apart. This isn't just a question of physical space, it's a question of emotional connection. We often find ourselves entangled in conflicts in our relationships, whether because of hurt feelings, disagreements, or actions that have left deep scars. These souls, who once hurt you, now find themselves in a state of chaos, surrounded by issues that seem insurmountable. What is most important, and what you need to understand, is that the universe has a way of balancing things out. Every action generates a reaction. What they have done to you is now coming back to them. Life, in its infinite wisdom, ensures that everyone faces the consequences of their choices. This is not a time for you to feel anger or a desire for revenge, but to observe what happens. The hurt you have carried may be heavy, but know that your heart is destined for forgiveness and peace. While they face their own challenges and learn from them, you are invited to free yourself from this emotional burden. It's an invitation to freedom, to transformation. Now I come to a crucial point. Are you prepared to discover the truth? The truth is often shrouded in layers that we need to unravel with patience and reflection. And this discovery is not just about what is happening to these two souls, but also about what is going on inside you. Sometimes, what needs to change is very close, within your own being. Everyone has a universe of possibilities and a unique path to follow. What happened to you doesn't define who you are. Scars can be the marks of battles, but they are also evidence of resilience and growth. I urge you to reflect on your own journey. Instead of dwelling on what happened, how can you use these experiences to strengthen yourself? How can you turn pain into learning? The power of choice is in your hands. You can decide how to respond to what has happened, how to react to what you see now. And here, in this space of reflection, there is an opportunity for you to connect even more deeply with your essence. Your choice to look at this moment with compassion can bring a lightness that often seems absent. Understand that the universe is a space of constant learning. Every step, every choice, and even every relationship brings valuable lessons. These two souls, living together in a scenario of emotional detachment, are a reminder that connection can often be misinterpreted. Life teaches us that true affection goes beyond physical presence, it travels through the energies and intentions we share. When you realize this, I invite you to open yourself up to the possibility of transformation. If the two of you are dealing with your own storms, you, in turn, can be the light that emerges from this process. And just as the universe acts, you can choose to express love and understanding, even in the face of others' confusion. And as you reflect on all this, remember that there is a community here, a safe space to share these heart-touching messages. I invite you to sign up, to become part of this circle of light, where together we explore the truths that have often remained hidden. Signing up is an opening, a sign that you are willing to embrace these revelations and connect with those who also seek to understand the nuances of life. Together, we can create an environment where love, understanding, and truth are celebrated. By signing up, you not only join me, but everyone who shares the same quest for clarity and growth. Every message we bring is an opportunity for learning, healing, and discovery. What are you doing now? Are you ready to take that step towards the richness that is shared knowledge? This is not just a call to action, but an invitation for you to take part in something bigger. As we walk this path together, we begin to see the interconnections between our experiences and the impact we have on each other. So, as you listen to this truth and welcome the transformation, come and be part of this mission. Each inscription is a candle lit, a seed planted in fertile soil, which opens up space for more light to arrive and spread. The universe is at work in its essence, and now, more than ever, is the time to accept its lessons and embrace the truth that is being revealed. Together, we will walk this path consciously, learning with every step we take. Karmic justice is a universal principle that ensures that everyone's actions generate consequences. What you sow, you reap, and this is something that goes beyond simple understanding. Right now, I want you to focus on the two souls who have impacted your path in some way. Recently, their relationships have taken a dark turn, and this turn doesn't refer to a trivial quarrel or a passing disagreement. What these souls are facing is a devastating revelation, something that will profoundly and permanently mess with their existences. They now hold medical reports that have the potential to destabilize their lives. These documents are more than just paper, they symbolize the physical manifestation of the consequences of their past actions. Sometimes, the universe waits patiently until the right moment for lessons to be learned clearly. This moment can be painful, but through the pain there is an opportunity for growth and self-awareness. Understand that life is this space where each of us is free to make decisions. However, these decisions shape not only the present, but also the future. Over time, what accumulates is the wisdom gained through experiences, both positive and negative. The two souls who grab your attention now are confronting the guilt and repercussions that arise from their choices. These medical reports may be a reflection of the culmination of certain attitudes that have not only been painful for you, but have deeply affected them too. When you look at this situation, it's crucial to remember that compassion should be one of your reactions. This doesn't mean that you should worry about the suffering of others, but rather recognize that each being is in their own learning process. The revelations that these two souls are facing are the result of an imbalance that has formed over time. They, like you, have the possibility of passing through this moment and emerging from it stronger. Life is not a straight line, it is a labyrinth of forms and experiences that challenge us to look inwards and reflect on what we really want to be. Ask yourself, what does this situation teach me and them? This is a powerful question that can open doors to deeper understanding. When you allow yourself to look at the situation in a new light, new insights can emerge, leading to an internal transformation. External chaos often serves as a mirror of what's inside, and this truth can be uncomfortable, but essential. In fact, the way they are dealing with this new challenge can give us insights into their nature and how they behave towards the world. They now have the chance to confront fears, insecurities, and realities that they may have avoided. This is an opportunity for growth, not only for them, but also for you who are observing and indirectly connecting with this whole process. If you choose to look at this situation with empathy, you will begin to see beyond the immediate suffering. You'll realize that pain can be a very effective teacher. Sometimes life slaps us so that we can wake up and pay attention to what really matters. This is the invitation that existence offers all of us, an invitation to awareness and transformation. While we live in an often rushed world where superficiality can prevail, it is vital that we cultivate an inner space where simplicity and truth can flourish. This gives us the chance to be more genuine in our reactions and our interactions. When the two souls in question face the challenges that arise, there will be an opportunity to recalibrate their intentions and, perhaps, act in a way that is more in line with their essence. Accepting the reality that karmic justice is underway is a first step towards liberation. Let go of the desire to control outcomes, because everyone has their own time and space to face their struggles and find their way back to the light. What you can do, then, is focus on your own journey and seek understanding through them, remembering that every human being is equally worthy of love and learning. And when you encounter similar situations in the future, you will be wiser, more aware, and kinder. Treat the pain of others as you would like them to treat yours. Each of us is a fundamental part of this great mosaic of life, and your understanding of karmic justice will not only enrich your own experience, but will also influence that of those around you. There are always lessons to be learned, and the experiences of one can reverberate in another, creating a cycle of learning and growth. I have great hope that by navigating these complexities, you too will find the strength to allow yourself to evolve more gracefully. After all, the world can be a challenging place, but it is also a place full of potential. Each challenge brings with it an invitation to transformation and self-knowledge. By choosing to look at your life through this lens, you will open the way to a new stage of understanding and acceptance. This deeper understanding of karmic justice, both in your relationships and in your personal life, is fundamental to freeing yourself from the bonds of the past. You are a being in constant evolution, and by allowing yourself to look at these realities, you contribute to a more conscious and compassionate world. This connection that forms between your experiences and those of others is not a mere coincidence. It is the dance of life that binds us together, and understanding this web of interconnections can make your own journey much more meaningful and full of purpose, as it waits for each of us to discover our own truth. Life, in its challenging unfolding, presents us with situations that often seem insurmountable, but which carry with them the opportunity for learning and transformation. Today, I would like to invite you to reflect on a scenario that can arise in human interactions and the consequences that flow from them. Two souls, united in one space, receive devastating news. Both have been diagnosed with a sexually transmitted disease. The gravity of the reports they hold in their hands is overwhelming. The pain and fear are palpable. This moment is not just medical information, it is a rupture, a blow to their realities. The hopes that might have arisen in the midst of the chaos become shadows, covered by a feeling of despair and uncertainty. However, what happens next reveals the complexity of the relationships. Instead of supporting each other, their reactions turn to defense. Each one, caught up in the emotional maelstrom, looks for the culprit and, tragically, the first option is each other's very presence. The friendship that could once have been a source of consolation turns into a battlefield. It turns out that fear, when not understood, often leads to hostility. This reality is a reflection of what can happen when human beings are faced with issues of vulnerability and fragility. Instead of pulling together in difficult times, the instinct is often to protect oneself, even if that means attacking. Insecurities emerge, and shared pain, instead of uniting, becomes a divider. Truths that need to be spoken become weapons, and words that could be supportive become blades. It's essential to recognize that this reaction is human. But it is equally essential that you understand that love, empathy, and forgiveness are the keys that can open doors even in the darkest situations. What is happening right now between them is an invitation to deeper reflection. What is each of them feeling that leads them to this defensive attitude? What does their individual pain reveal about their own vulnerability? It's important that, as you observe this struggle, you try to understand what's behind their behavior. Now realize that this situation, however painful it may be, reflects something bigger that happens inside each person. Everyone carries their own anxieties, fears, and experiences, and when reality is overwhelming, the initial impulse may be to protect oneself, even if this means hurting the other person. In this emotional game, what is lost is the chance to support oneself, to turn what could be a learning moment into a cycle of guilt and resentment. Have you ever felt like this at some point in your life? Have you ever been in a confrontational situation, where pain led you to vent and attack those who should have been your allies? This is a deep understanding of the human condition that is worth exploring. What brought about this transformation from a need for support to a defensive and hostile response? How does this reflect on your own reactions in times of crisis? These questions are vital for you to be able to process what is happening. When faced with these situations, it is essential to cultivate a space for internal and external dialogue. When you realize that the other person is also suffering, there is an opportunity to look with more compassion. Of course, the pain they are feeling is legitimate. Every tear shed, every negative thought, is part of the process of dealing with reality. But the basis for emotional recovery, which can be just as important as physical recovery, is the realization that we humans are not alone. In moments of crisis, remembering that we are all susceptible to failures, mistakes, and challenges can be the first step. When this humanization is rescued, compassion becomes a transformative element. And this is especially significant in today's context, where health and well-being, both physical and emotional, go hand in hand. Can you imagine what it might be like if these two souls were united, rather than divided? If, instead of attacking each other, they decided to sit down and talk about their fears and insecurities, they could not only find solace in each other, but also a space for learning and growth. This shared experience could become a testimony of strength and resilience. Now, as you think about this scenario, ask yourself how this applies to your own life and interactions. Where can you bring more empathy and understanding? Where can you cultivate a supportive space, rather than one of conflict? Everyone's comments can be a reflection of this discovery. By sharing your experiences and perceptions, you not only promote greater understanding, but also offer care and support to others who may be dealing with similar situations. This can be a call for each of us to revisit our own relationships, observing where division may be forming when, in fact, what we need most is unity and solidarity. By commenting, you not only express your ideas, but also open up a channel for other people to share and connect. In this space, everyone has their voices, their stories, and their struggles. What do you feel when you look at this situation? What does it provoke in your heart? Let's turn conversations into connections, and in this exchange of experiences, together we can find paths to healing and understanding. Share what comes to mind. Imagine two souls involved in an intense argument, where anger and disbelief become the dominant forces. The atmosphere is dense, words are thrown around like weapons, each trying to gain the upper hand over the other. What could be a moment of reflection and understanding turns into a verbal battlefield. In the midst of this confrontation, the name of a third party emerges, you, the listener. Suddenly, the situation takes an unexpected turn. One of the partners, overwhelmed by her own pain and frustration, accuses the other of being with you before the disease manifested itself between them. This accusation is not just an emotional detour, but a reflection of desperation. The need to find someone to blame for their suffering leads them to point fingers and create stories that they may even feel to be true. This moment of confrontation reveals a lot about the dynamics of fear and insecurity that permeate their lives. By mentioning you, they are looking for a way out, a way to shift the blame away from themselves. It's an instinctive human reaction when we're confronted with pain that we don't know how to deal with. And so, by turning their attention to you, they try to relieve the pressure they feel, without realizing that they may be creating an even more damaging cycle. With this, the accusation that their partner contracted the disease from you also arises. This idea, loaded with anger, is not just an attempt to justify each other's actions, but a desperate way of seeking control at a time when everything seems out of control. But words don't just have the power to hurt, they protect and reflect deep insecurities. As the argument intensifies, they both try to deny the truth that is clearly in front of them. The symptoms they both feel cannot be ignored, and this creates even greater tension. They find themselves at an impasse, unable to accept the reality that has begun to unfold before their eyes. Fear of the unknown, uncertainty about the future and the consequences of what they are facing trap them in a cycle of denial. At this point, it is vital that you understand that anger is an emotion that, when misdirected, can cause incalculable damage. What could have been a space for dialogue and support has turned into a spectacle of accusations. What they both need to understand is that, in this process of confrontation, they lose sight of the essence of what brought them together. This is a pattern that many people experience in their interactions. When confronted with pain, we tend to push the truth away and project the blame onto others. This struggle for control, which manifests itself through anger, is not only destructive, but alienating. What these two souls don't realize is that by chasing each other, they are actually moving away from their own truths and pain. Look at this situation and reflect. How many times have you found yourself in a conflict where emotion has overshadowed reason? How many times have heavy words been spoken in the heat of the moment, without realizing that this could cause deep wounds? These moments of despair, although undeniable, can also be valuable opportunities for self-discovery. Human nature is full of nuances. What drives them to this confrontation is not just illness, but a set of unresolved emotions. Anger is often what prevents understanding. Disbelief in their partner, insecurity about their own body and hopelessness in their relationship all intertwine, creating a spiral that consumes everything around them. It is therefore urgent for each of these souls to start looking inwards, rather than attacking externally. This is a time when the truth needs to be confronted, but compassion also needs to come into play. It's about finding a way to break this corrosive cycle, where pain doesn't become revenge, but a means of reflection. As you can see, this scenario is once again a mirror of the human condition. Emotions are extreme, and relationships, at their core, require understanding and vulnerability. The two partners still have the chance to meet in a space where healing can begin, but this will only happen when they decide to stop attacking each other and open up to the possibility of dialogue and support. At this point, remember that the truth always comes out. And even if the two of them try to avoid confronting this reality, life will somehow lead them to recognize that they are all connected, that the shared experience goes far beyond anger and guilt. As you reflect on this dynamic, think about how important it is to have empathy in moments of crisis. The attitude of accusing the other of being with you doesn't resolve the issue, but only perpetuates the cycle of pain. By focusing on the need to protect and defend oneself, what is often forgotten is that there are valuable lessons lurking out there, waiting to be taken in. Every interaction we have, especially in times of crisis, is an opportunity to grow and evolve. If you've ever been in a similar place, understand that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. It takes courage to open up to others, even when emotions take over and anger seems to be the only answer. But in the end, what these two souls need to realize is that healing is possible. Through understanding, forgiveness and acceptance, lost trust can be rebuilt. It won't be an easy road, but it's a road worth walking. Because the light of truth can finally begin to shine between them, as long as they decide it's time to stop hurting each other and start supporting each other. At this point, when looking at the situation between these two souls, you have to understand how the dynamics of anger can manifest in an intense and destructive way. Emotions are often complicated and, in the confusion of suffering, it becomes easy for each of them to blame themselves, especially when the pain they feel seems unbearable. The anger they feel is not only directed at each other, but also at themselves. The discovery that they both face the same battle against a sexually transmitted disease generates a cycle of guilt and contempt. They find it difficult to accept what has happened, which leads to an escalation of accusations and aggression. Instead of finding a space for mutual healing, the relationship turns into a battlefield, where the pain is not only amplified, but becomes an emotional prison. In this context, it's vital to clarify one truth: this situation is in no way your fault. You, a listener who is watching all this unfold, are not the cause of this suffering. Understanding this is essential so that you don't get carried away by a feeling of responsibility that doesn't belong to you. Often, People find themselves entangled in situations that they didn't cause, but they still feel guilty. It's time to free yourself from this burden that wasn't yours. What these two souls need to realize is that life often just happens. Sometimes the things we don't want to happen affect us in ways we can't predict. And in this sense, it is possible to find a way to grow from adversity. Certainly, pain is a harsh teacher, but it's also an opportunity to reassess and redirect your paths. So, while they sink into a sea of anger, the path for you is clear. It's important that you distance yourself from this toxic energy that now surrounds them. Don't let yourself be consumed by feelings of guilt or responsibility for their conflicts. The negative energy they create can be contagious, and you don't need to become part of this destructive cycle. Instead, find space for your own healing. Remember that taking care of yourself is essential before worrying about helping others. The focus here should be on your well-being. By prioritizing your own mental and emotional health, you not only welcome your experiences, but also prepare yourself to approach situations with more clarity and love. Healing is a personal process, and by isolating yourself from the negativity around you, you can find the lightest path to travel. This doesn't mean that you exclude these souls from your life, but rather that you create healthy boundaries that allow you to live in a fuller and more balanced way. Right now, as you observe everything that is happening, it is essential that you take this opportunity to reflect on what this means for you. How can you strengthen yourself in the midst of this? What lessons can you draw from this tangled situation? Each of us goes through experiences that force us to look inwards and reevaluate our emotional responses. That's why I encourage you to share this message, because by doing so, you can touch other souls who, like you, may be facing their own storms. By spreading this message, you not only offer people the chance to see their own situation reflected, but you also provide a space for them to understand that pain, although painful, doesn't have to be a lonely burden. By sharing, you become part of a larger movement where compassion and understanding can flourish. It's crucial that you remember that the healing aura we create by taking care of ourselves and moving away from negative energies can serve as a light for others. The stories we tell and the experiences we share have the power to resonate deeply with those around us. So, by sending this message forward, it will be a way of harmonizing the energy around you. And in doing so, by sharing what is truly necessary, you begin to create a space for healthier conversations. This can lead to a deeper understanding between you and those who share similar experiences. Human interactions are often enriched by vulnerability and a willingness to take on pain, but also to seek solutions and support. Focus on your own healing and the message of love and understanding that you can carry forward. The path to healing is one we must all walk. You are not alone in the search for understanding and inner peace. Actively engage in your own emotional health, and you will become an example to others. When you move away from energies that don't serve you and start taking care of who you are, the truth will come out. And finally, the two souls in conflict will be able to find their own way, as will you, by freeing yourself from any undeserved guilt or responsibility. Your focus on healing and positive transformation fosters the possibility of future reconciliations and alignments. Life unfolds in ways we often can't predict, but what we can control is how we respond to these experiences. The message you carry is powerful, and by sharing it, you give voice to the need for acceptance, understanding, and growth. Be aware that by prioritizing your healing, you not only strengthen yourself, but you become a witness to the human capacity to transcend and learn from difficulties. Allow yourself to be the agent of change you want to see in this world. By moving away from toxicity, you cultivate fertile soil for light to flourish. A light that not only illuminates your path, but also serves as a guide for those who observe you. The interaction between human beings, especially in times of pain and confusion, is a delicate dance, and your role is to be the balancing force that can bring peace and harmony. This is the call to action, empathy, and self-love. Carry this message forward and observe the subtle changes that will occur around you. Its healing and strength are an ode to the power of truth and understanding, and so what begins as a struggle can turn into a blessing in disguise. So make that gesture of sharing and see the impact it will have on the world around you. Right now, I invite you to open your heart and mind to the idea that blessings and healing are on the way. You are not alone in this quest for a better future. This is a powerful statement, and by believing it, you take a significant step towards the transformation you want to see in your life. Life often presents us with financial challenges that can feel overwhelming. The burdens you carry may seem very heavy, but know that there is a path to liberation. You can seek this change and create a reality where peace and financial security are part of your daily life. Try to imagine a future where your financial worries are alleviated and where you can live detached from the anxieties that often surround everyday life. To help you in this process, I want to share with you an ancient prayer that is special. It has the power to bring healing and financial blessings into your life. The practice of prayer is a powerful way of connecting with the divine energy and abundance that surrounds us. When you allow yourself to be part of this experience, you open the door to the manifestation of your needs and desires. The prayer I present to you asks for guidance. By calling on this higher help, you are addressing a force that is always available to support you. Realize that the simple act of seeking guidance is in itself a sign of courage and wisdom. You don't have to face your struggles alone. There is a greater force that wants to guide you through difficulties. Furthermore, prayer focuses on healing. Healing is not just limited to the physical aspect, but extends to the emotional and financial. When your thoughts and feelings are in harmony, you create a space for abundance to flow into your life. The proposal here is that you allow the energy of healing to enter your life, bringing freedom from any weight that prevents you from prospering. Peace, strength, and financial freedom are the pillars of this prayer. When we ask for peace, we are asking for a tranquility that permeates all areas of our lives. Peace within you is what allows you to make wise and balanced decisions, as well as attracting the positive energy you need for your journey. This inner peace translates into clarity and confidence, enabling you to deal with challenges in a more centered and serene way. Strength is another aspect that this prayer calls for. The strength that comes from within enables you to face obstacles with courage and determination. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. When you connect with your own inner strength, nothing can stop you from moving forward. Bear in mind that you are more resilient than you think, and this power manifests itself through your ability to overcome difficulties. Financial freedom is one of the most desirable goals in the lives of many. This prayer not only asks for freedom from financial burdens, but also calls for a life filled with abundance. Think for a moment about what financial freedom means to you. What would your life be like if you could live without the constant weight of financial worry? This image is powerful, and by allowing yourself to feel this energy, you will come closer to realizing this desire. By joining me in this prayer, you are inviting these energies into your life. This not only connects you to a divine flow, but also makes you accept and receive the blessings that are waiting for you. The act of praying is a commitment to transformation and acceptance of the light that already exists within you. Prayer is a mechanism for liberation, and, by saying it, you are affirming your belief in the divine path. You are opening yourself up to the possibility of receiving everything you deserve. Allow yourself to believe that blessings are on the way. Faith is a powerful force that can move mountains, and when you put it into practice, you are joining an energy of love and support that wants the best for you. So, as you prepare for this moment of prayer, I invite you to breathe deeply. Feel the air move in and out of your lungs, allowing each breath to bring a new energy of hope and possibility. Visualize a future where your financial worries are a thing of the past, where you can enjoy the peace and prosperity that are within your reach. Reflect on what you really want, what your heart yearns for. As you connect with your deepest intentions, remember that the journey is not just about the outcome, but about the transformation that takes place within you throughout the process. Every step you take towards this light is an affirmation of faith in yourself and the possibilities that surround you. Prayer can be a personal practice, connecting you to something much greater. When you give yourself over to this moment, allow feelings of gratitude to rise in your heart. Be grateful for the small and large blessings that are already part of your life. Each act of gratitude is a call to abundance, attracting more good things your way. As you participate in this prayer, be open to receiving the changes and blessings that will come. Remember that, in this process, it is so important to trust that you are exactly where you need to be and that things will work out for the best. The road may be long, but every step is an opportunity to learn and grow. By raising your intentions and connecting to this prayer, you contribute to a cycle of manifestation and enlightenment that begins in your life and resonates with those around you. Let this be an invitation to the new, to the different, to what brings satisfaction and joy. As you move forward, know that you are worthy of all the blessings the universe has to offer. Allow the light to enter and dwell in your being, and observe how it has the potential to transform not only your reality, but also the lives of everyone around you. Imagine two individuals involved in a conflict, with the situation involving the listener between them. In this context, each of them finds themselves caught in a spiral of accusations, in which anger and discontent intensify as they try to shift the blame onto each other. As the quarrel intensifies, it's clear that both are letting their emotions get the better of them. Each is looking for a culprit, and it's often easier to point the finger outwards than to face the reality of their own mistakes. The listener, who may only have been part of the story's plot, becomes a target for the frustrations and insecurities that each of them carries. This movement of blaming the other is not uncommon. When people feel threatened or vulnerable, the instinctive reaction is to look for someone to blame, even if this doesn't solve the real problem. In this exchange of accusations, what happens is that both are actually trying to hide their own faults. They're not just arguing about the illness or the situation itself, they're fighting against their own inability to deal with the pain. This is a crucial point to note. The more they try to escape responsibility, the further they move away from the opportunity to recognize their own mistakes and learn from them. The angel brings a perspective that is often ignored in moments of conflict. The truth is that blaming the listener doesn't solve anything, but it is a way of running away from internal pain. It's a defense mechanism. When responsibility is externalized, there is temporary relief, but true healing never happens. By focusing on who can be blamed, they are both refusing to look at themselves and understand what this situation teaches them about their lives and choices. In essence, each of them may be feeling overwhelmed and helpless. This fight is not just about the situation in question, but much more about what is going on in their hearts. They have fears they can't express, insecurities they don't want to face. The fear of the unknown, the inability to cope with the new reality of their lives, and even worries about the future push them into this unnecessary fight. The healthiest path in situations like this is self-reflection. When you realize that the real goal isn't to find someone to blame, but to understand what's going on inside you, you begin to make room for healing. So what do you do when emotions are running high and sharp words are spoken without thinking? It's essential to seek a moment of clarity. Anger can obscure vision, but with a pause, the opportunity can arise to see the situation in a new light. Pain often serves as a teacher. Instead of allowing this pain to drive you apart, what could happen if you both decided to use it as a chance to learn and grow? By confronting their emotions, they can begin to work together instead of opposing each other. This is not about ignoring what has happened, but about allowing yourself to feel and process the pain in a way that is not destructive. In this space of self-reflection, you can also ask yourself questions. What does this situation reveal about me? How can I contribute to a positive resolution? The listener should realize that this is part of a cycle that many people face in various relationships. The cycle of criticism and defense can be broken when everyone decides to look inward and understand their actions. Also, keep in mind that clear communication is fundamental. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Often, during fights, words are said impulsively, without considering the impact. Understanding that it is possible to express what you feel without attacking is a skill that everyone can cultivate. Open dialogue can soften the edges of anger and create a space where real conversation can take place. Remember that conflicts are inevitable in human relationships. They are not necessarily bad, but serve as opportunities for growth if handled with care and love. When you allow yourself to understand that your emotions are valid, but that the way you express them can make all the difference, you begin to enter a path where compassion becomes the focus. Being willing to listen to the other party and seek to understand their pain can be the first step towards resolution. Often, by understanding the motivations behind the anger, you can find common ground. This understanding breaks the cycle of accusations and allows everyone to see themselves in their vulnerability and thus create a space for empathy. It's always a choice how to react to a difficult situation. You can be carried away by the current of negative emotions, or you can decide to be an agent of change, seeking a solution that brings both parties to a deeper place of understanding and healing. Forgiveness, when possible, is a gift that everyone deserves, because it's not just about the other person, but about the liberation you find in releasing resentments. The truth is that everyone has their own battles to face. The listener must remember that responsibility for actions and consequences is shared between everyone involved, and that healing and understanding begin with accepting that everyone has their own weaknesses. Instead of seeing each other as enemies, the proposal is to see each other as companions in the human experience, where everyone makes mistakes, learns and still has the chance to get back on their feet. In the heat of quarrel and tension, try to find moments to pause, breathe and reflect. Anger can be a powerful emotion, but it doesn't have to be the only voice in your internal conversation. Recognize that by blaming the other person, you may be distracting yourself from the real opportunity for growth that life presents. May everyone find the wisdom to look at themselves and, in doing so, discover that even in the midst of conflict, there is room for peace and understanding. When we find ourselves in the midst of conflict and emotional tension, it's easy to get carried away by the negative energy that surrounds us. You, as a listener, must remember that your inner peace and well-being are essential. Don't let yourself be absorbed by the destructive emotions of others. What you feel and how you react are important, and you have the power to choose where to place your attention. Emotions are contagious, and when two people are in conflict, this tension can spread like a wave. A simple conversation can quickly turn into a clash, where anger and frustration take over. In this environment, it's common to feel overwhelmed, even if you're not directly involved in the conflict. The key to your emotional protection is to recognize that you don't have to carry this weight. You can make conscious choices that preserve your energy and focus. It's not about ignoring what's going on around you, but about maintaining a certain emotional distance. This distance doesn't mean indifference, it means wisdom. By not letting yourself be influenced by other people's negativity, you create a safe space for yourself. This allows you to focus on your own peace, health and prosperity. It's a way of freeing yourself from the chains that often form in conflicting relationships. In this context, prayer emerges as a powerful tool. The practice of praying is not only an act of faith, but also a method of connecting with a greater energy that is available to us all. When you turn to prayer, you begin to open channels of communication with the divine, and this goes beyond spiritual matters. The blessings you seek are not limited to emotional healing, they also extend to your financial prosperity. Financial difficulties can be a source of stress and worry. When you feel pressured by financial issues, it's easy to get lost in the fog of anxiety. This is one of the reasons why prayer can be so meaningful. When you pray, you express your concerns, wish for help and connect with a force that can help you find solutions. This connection can guide you to opportunities and paths that you haven't yet realized. When you deprive yourself of the weight of other people's negativity and seek the light through prayer, you put yourself in a position to receive. Prosperity doesn't just come from hard work or external circumstances, it often starts with the intention you place in your life. When you direct your energy towards prayer and ask for guidance, you are affirming that you are open to receiving the resources that the universe can offer. Prayer also brings with it an element of trust. By asking for financial prosperity, you are making a statement that you believe there can be a change in your situation. This faith is fundamental. You may feel surrounded by negativity at the moment, but by allowing prayer into your life, you are sending a clear signal that you are willing to rise above the current situation. You are inviting positive change and stimulating a flow of abundance that can manifest in various ways. Tuning into prayer is a step towards reconnecting with yourself. Often, external voices can be so loud that you can forget to listen to your own voice. When you pray, you create a space of silence. This silence is deep and full of answers. Allow yourself to immerse yourself in this space, where worries can be put aside and you can focus on what you really want. It is there that you can glimpse opportunities and paths that were covered up by the fog of negativity and doubt. When you connect with the energy of prayer, something wonderful happens. You start to notice changes in your mindset. The pessimism that may have dominated your thoughts gives way to hope and determination. This mental transformation is essential because it directly influences how you see the world and how the world responds to you. Believe that financial prosperity is a possibility. Prayer is not just a petition, but also an act of visualization. Visualize yourself in a space where your financial needs are met. Imagine feeling that freedom that comes with financial security. This practice not only lifts your spirits, but creates a positive vibration around you that attracts favorable opportunities. As you move away from the negativity created by others, you simultaneously move closer to your true essence and purpose. Prayer is a way of reconnecting with yourself and with what really matters. This reconnection can open doors to new ideas, new ventures, and new ways of generating income. The universe is always shaping itself according to the energy we are emitting, and you have the ability to shape this energy through your actions and thoughts. When you decide not to let yourself be dominated by the emotions that surround you, you are making a conscious choice to be more connected with your inner self. And this connection fosters a space where healing and prosperity can sprout. You create a solid foundation that will allow you to face life's challenges with confidence and resilience. I encourage you to practice this prayer regularly. Make it part of your routine. Find a quiet moment, take a deep breath and dedicate yourself to this practice with an open heart. Don't be afraid to express your needs, desires, and concerns. As you give yourself over to this flow of communication with the divine, begin to notice the subtleties and signs that the universe is sending you. Remember that prosperity is not limited to material goods, but encompasses a state of being that includes health, love, and peace. When you cultivate a mindset of abundance, you attract all these things into your life. The world is more than the sum of your difficulties, it is also a space full of possibilities. You are worthy of receiving everything you want and you deserve flowers in all areas of your life. By standing firm in your position, seeking the light through prayer and refusing to let yourself be carried away by the negativity of others, you are preparing yourself to receive the fruits of your determination. Life has a way of rewarding those who remain open and willing to believe in a better future. So, as you stand firm in this personal commitment, watch as life begins to unfold in unexpected and rewarding ways. This is a time of renewal and healing. Giving prayer its place of importance in your life is a way of honoring your own journey. Through it, you not only seek help, but also reaffirm your value and your right to an abundant life. You are not alone on this journey, there is always a light at your core, and it will be your guide. Now that you have connected with this message of light and hope, I invite you to actively participate by leaving a comment with the word Amen or 111. This word has the power to attract good energy and prosperity into your life. Take the opportunity to see if you're already subscribed to our channel and, if you're not yet, join us. Don't forget to share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it and to leave a like so that more people have access to this message. And to close this moment together, I invite you to say a little prayer. May the light of abundance enter my life and may I be a channel for sharing this energy with the world. May all negativity dissipate and may I attract prosperity in every aspect. May my faith be strengthened and may I believe in the path that lies ahead of me. Amen. Thank you for being part of this community, and may you feel the positive energy flowing into your life.